Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 2 in Bubby's Ultimate Battle League Bubble. My name is CBAD, coach of the Detroit Steelwings. We're taking on a good friend of mine, Callum, and the Real Quinid. I love the team name. First off, absolutely love it. Love the logo. Absolutely fire. Hope you guys are excited. If you guys are, definitely show some love on that like button down below. If you guys are new, you like competitive Pokemon content, specifically Draft League, as well as some other stuff, subscribe, tap in. We got plenty of that coming your way. Champions around the corner. We got a new VGC season kicking off here soon. Very, very excited for today's matchup because it is going to be a doozy. I'm looking to kind of reclaim lost ground after last week's match. If you didn't catch our week 1 match, spoilers in 3, 2, 1. We lost 4-0, I believe it was, to Lynn's at the Atlanta Absol. It was a great game. She made some great reads and some great plays, and I've had a lot of time to really kind of reflect on it and just, you know, do what I can to move on and kind of, you know, hopefully adapt as a battler, because we've got another tour coming up at the end of the season with this stuff. We've got plenty of Draft League coming. I'm always looking for an opportunity to learn. I've been doing this for so long that I always think it's a good idea to just like look back, reflect, understand what we could have done better to take it into the next game. So that being said, Callum's team's definitely going to be a little bit challenging. He has a little bit of a monstrous team there. Some Pokemon I'm familiar with, some Pokemon that I'm not familiar with. He too is coming off of a little bit of a loss, and I can only, at the time of recording, I haven't seen the week 1 match. I can only speculate as to what happened in there, but I know that he's definitely wanting to bounce back as well, so we're both getting ready to just two worlds colliding here. I definitely always enjoy getting the chance to interact with him. I always enjoy his content, so definitely go show him some love. Rest of the coach is in the description of this video as well. If you guys want to check out the rest of the Draft League battles that are going up today, definitely tap in, do so. The fan docs in the description. You already know the vibes. I appreciate you guys watching. There will be some text floating somewhere on screen in post-production if you want to hop right on ahead of the battle. I always recommend you watch Teambuilder so you guys know what I'm bringing and why I'm bringing it. Of course, if that's not your speed, on the screen or in the timestamps down below. Appreciate your time. You guys are going to start to see some teams appear on screen right about now. But first, before we hop into that, we're going to talk about some free agency transactions because I forgot that I was supposed to talk about them right now. So there will be some additional text floating somewhere on screen if you want to hop to the Team Builder and skip this part. Check the timestamps in the descriptions. That way you guys can tap in however you so choose to, because we did make some changes. I know it's only week 2, but definitely looking at the draft pool that was available afterwards, I think that there was just there was a better choice. There was a better choice in the lower tiers for some of our Pokemon that might fit the betterment of our team. So I was taking a look over those and just kind of seeing, you know, how did I want to go about that? And it was a pretty easy tit-for-tat transaction there. Unfortunately, Flora the Leafeon is no longer going to be on the roster. We are down a Sun Sweeper. Unfortunately, I know she did so well sitting on the bench last week that just how is anybody going to replace her? But I have news for you. We are bringing on Bongo the Thwackey. Now, Thwackey is a pure grass type. It is the middle evolution of Rillaboom, and it is Baby Boom. You know, Baby Boomer, really. It's Rillaboom in a nice little fun little package that gets Eviolite. So let's go ahead and talk about Thwackey here. Of course, we already mentioned that it's the middle evolution, so it gets the Eviolite. It's got the Grassy Surge ability, so on switch-in, this Pokemon summons the Grassy Terrain, giving us, I believe it's 1/8 recovery, 1/16 recovery, something similar. It's like leftovers, I want to say. I feel like 1/16 sounds about right. Maybe it's 1/8. 1/8 sounds a lot. 1/16. You know what? Now we're going to look. Grassy Terrain recovery, 1/16. Calling it. Calling it right now. What is the recovery? Hello? Trying to find it here. Bulbapedia, what are you doing? We do 1/16 of its maximum HP, and it gives grass type moves 50%. Told you 16%, or 1/16, 16%. Don't doubt me. Don't doubt me. Anyways, 70 base HP, 85 attack, 70 defense, 55 special attack, 60 special defense, 80 speed. So not too bad speed-wise. You know, some of the slower, bulkier mons were able to outspeed. 85 base attack isn't, like, crazy by any means. But we do get a boost on our stat from the Grassy Surge. We get that 50% buff, which is great. We do have setup through moves like Swords Dance, which is fantastic. We have priority in the Grassy Glide. We can use moves like Knockoff. We can use moves like U-Turn to pivot. We've got Fake Out priority. We've got Low Kick. We've got Taunt, Trailblaze, big ol' Wood Hammer, 120 base power move. So I felt like this Pokemon overall, like Leafeon provided some defensive backbone, right? It provided some potential for a Sun Sweeper. I think Thwackey does exactly what I wanted Leafeon to do, but it does more for the team. It is a very bulky grass type once you toss on the Eviolite and give it its terrain and whatnot with the recovery. So the same resistances that Leafeon came to the table with, we're going to be able to take. We probably take special defensively a little bit better. We're not as offensive across the board. Leafeon had 110 attack. Thwackey only has 85. Our terrain does boost our stab moves, but of course that doesn't make up for the fact that the rest of our moves don't get that boost. So it is a little unfortunate, but I believe Grassy Terrain provides a little bit of support for the rest of the mons, you know, a little bit of recovery for things like Great Tusk, for things like Raging Bolt. It's going to nerf the you know, Earthquake spam from happening, which is great. It's going to be good recovery for things like Low Kicks, for things like Basculegion as well. It provides us some opportunity with some Grassy Seed items if we so want to, being able to boost the defense on something like a Raging Bolt, on something like a Golden Go, on a Basculegion could be great. We've got 3 great birds on there, really only one of which wants to attack offensively in Dodrio. So being able to run like a Grassy Seed acrobatic set could be really cool. So that's really why I ended up making that change. It should have been done in the grace period after the draft, and I just overthought it and didn't see the benefit, and just afterwards I was like, this really should have happened. So that's free agency, 1-for-1. It's simple. I know usually I make 2 to 3 moves, but we were actually able to do a 1-for-1 transaction, I know. So appreciate your time, and back to the team builder. My opponent has a team that consists of Gouging Fire, Alomomola, Corviknight, Hatterene, Crocodile, Kilowattrel, Sinistra, Hitmonlee, Cinccino, Cloyster, and Monkey Dory. Callum's got 3 Tera Captains in Kilowattrel, Hitmonlee, and Cloyster, so we're going to have to watch out for those. As far as the team goes, looking at like from a speed tier-wise, he does have the Kilowattrel, which naturally outspeeds everything on my side of the field. He's got 3 Form of Hazard removals, Defog on Corviknight, Rapid Spin on Hitmonlee, and then Tidy Up on Cinccino. I have Goldengo potentially, so I don't think he's going to want to bring either Defog or Rapid Spin, considering that I block both of them. Tidy Up is definitely a potential. I want to make sure that I don't have an opportunity for him to go for a Tidy Up, if that is the Form of Hazard removal that he wants to do, because a +1 Cinccino really doesn't sound too fun with all the bells and whistles that it may have. So let's go on ahead and start talking about the team here. First Pokemon we are bringing this week, really the win con overall. I'm going to start the team builder with like the meat, and then we're going to start talking about the supporting cast of potatoes behind it. We're bringing Dagger, the female Basculegion. Now she is holding her choice specs with the Swift Swim ability. We are running Surf, Shadow Ball, Flip Turn, and Aqua Jet. We are running Tera Water this week. 32 EVs in HP, 4 in defense, 252 in special attack, 220 in speed with a timid nature. Looking at the matchup, truthfully and transparently, I was trying to find where on earth there is a check to Basculegion female in the rain. Specs, Tera, all that good stuff. And on his team, it's like Assault Vest, Spadef, Alomomola. Like that is the only mon that reliably takes this on. Other than that, Tera Water specs in the rain, Tera Water Surf specs in the rain, is one-shotting everything. It 2-shots Sinistra if it's just max HP Alomomola. If it's not Assault Vest or max Spadef, it is 2-hit KO'd. Of course, obviously the Assault Vest in that. So I definitely expect Alomomola to come in some fashion. Kilowattrel, I believe, is going to be the Tera Captain this week. A Volt Absorb Tera Fairy set really stops something like Raging Bolt right in its tracks. It's faster than my whole team. A Scarf Kilowattrel is actually 1 point faster than max speed Swift Swimming Basculegion in the rain, so that's something to consider as well. But yeah, it's definitely a challenging matchup for us. But with this in mind, we do have the max special attack output. We're not running Modest. We do need a little bit of the speed there underneath Swift Swim in order to make sure that we can take care of some things. Surf and Shadow Ball really go unchecked. I mean, like I said, Shadow Ball, Surf is so much more reliable. Like I will click Surf every time. I do have Flip Turn, so in some practice and some mock battles, you know, I thought maybe it would be like a Sash Kilowattrel, like a late game Sash Kilowattrel. If I can't get hazards up, it'll always live the Surf and go for a Thunderbolt, knock me out. So Flip Turn on there is going to be able to help just to get in and out. Aqua Jet, some fine priority. We are running a negative attack nature on this thing. But with the Tera Water, we are going to be able to bump up Aqua Jet to base 60 in the rain, plus stab. It's going to be doing just a little bit of chip damage to things like Crocodile, a little bit of chip damage here to Gouging Fire. Might be able to pick off like a weakened Kilowattrel or a weakened Hitmonlee, something along those lines. But I'm really looking forward to this. As far as the speed tier itself goes, at 271, we are outspeeding, you know, your standard Sinistras, your Cloysters, a lot of the bulkier Pokemon, right? Your Sinistra, Cloyster, Corviknight, Alomomola, and Hatterene. We are outspeeding like a not max speed. Hitmonlee is probably always going to run max speed in my opinion, especially with an Unburdened set. An Unburdened Hitmonlee could also come to play as well. We are running a little bit of speed, so like a more bulky Gouging Fire, we're able to outspeed. A bulkier Crocodile, we're able to outspeed, but if he is running like closer to maximum investment on those things, he is going to outspeed us. In the rain, we are hitting 542. I believe that is to outpace +1 Gouging Fire. Let me check that here. It actually might be... There we go. All right. So I wanted to double check that there. So in the rain, we hit 542. That means we are outspeeding a +1 Cinccino by 1 point. I cannot outspeed a +1 Kilowattrel, but if Cinccino does go for something like a tidy up, if he's running Scarf Cinccino, we are able to outspeed that and everything else as well. So something to keep in mind there. I want to make sure that I've got my full grasp on Kilowattrel before I really start to kind of like let this thing loose. But the name of the game is to bring this in the rain and click Surf as often as I can. Just taking a look at some of the damage calcs here. So again, the biggest one I'm truly concerned with is the Alomomola. And if we run that set really quickly, a max HP Alomomola in the rain, Tera Water, Surf does 63 to 75%. It's not a check. It's not a check. If he does bring the, I'm just putting in the standard like OU Assault Vest set with like max HP, from there in the rain, Surf has a very small chance to 3-hit KO, so it's something that we do have to consider. He could run Mirror Coat into me for something along those lines, but again, that's still, I mean, 30 to 35%. It is like battling against that Regenerator build at that part, so something to keep in mind of if he does end up bringing it. Now, in order to set the rain, we are bringing Big Milk the Pelipper. He's holding his Damp Rock with the Drizzle ability. We have Weather Ball, Roost, U-Turn, and Hurricane. 192 EVs in HP, 252 in defense, 4 in special attack, 60 in speed with a Bold Nature. We're ended up hitting 181 speed here. That is going to be speed creeping things like Corviknight, things like Sinistcha, so we can get on out of there if he is running a more defensive Sinistcha set. More defensive Corviknight set, things along those lines if they do show up. Weather Ball, very spammable in the rain, doing super effective damage and doing a lot of damage across the board. Hurricane, same thing, great to have for super effective damage into something like Sinistcha. Hits something like the Alomomola very hard as well. Roost for the longevity, if we do have an opportunity to go for Roost, if we identify maybe a Scarf Crocodile across from us, locked into Earthquake, we can just go for a Roost right in front of it, and then U-turn again to pivot on out of there, getting a nice slow U-turn off on most of the field, other than, again, some of those more likely bulkier Pokemon, and then bring in something like our Choice Specs Basculegion there. Next up, Titano Strike the Raging Bolt, holding his leftovers with the Photosynthesis ability. We have Thunderbolt, Dragon Pulse, Calm Mind, and Protect. We're running max HP and max defense investment, 4 in special attack with a Bold Nature here. Nothing really that I wanted to try to outspeed. I outspeed everything below Hitmonlee, all the base 70s and below, Sinistcha, Cloyster, Corviknight, Alomomola, and Hatterene. I outspeed all of those naturally. I, of course, have the threat of something like Thunderclap in front of something like the Cloyster. I don't think Cloyster is the play this game. I could be very wrong, but I don't think this is a Cloyster matchup. Thunderbolt and Dragon Pulse dual stab. That's one of the reasons why I think Volt Absorb, Tera Fairy, Kilowattrel could be just very locked in. A Scarf, Tera Fairy, Volt Absorb, Kilowattrel checks my Basculegion in the rain, and it checks my Raging Bolt. So I definitely think it has some potential there. But if it doesn't, which is great, if that's not the Tera Captain, if he's running competitive over Volt Absorb, great. We have opportunity to hit it. But that's just, again, kind of talking about it there. Originally, this was a Resto Chesto set. I figured the leftovers and the Protect help me kind of, if there is like one turn of rain left and I can like sack Pelipper, if I have to like sack something and Pelipper's the sack or something like that, it gives me a time to kind of stall out my own rain if I do so choose to, so that way I can bring Pelipper in for a fresh 7 turns, assuming I haven't been knocked off from there. Calm Mind is great. We've got the max defensive investment. We're able to take, I believe after 2 Protects, we're able to take like a 3-hit KO from Crocodile with Earthquake, which is a little gross. Let me double check that count real quick. Crocodile, just max attack Jolly. Earthquake does 51 to 60, so it has a 91% chance to 2-hit KO after the leftovers recovery. So if we're able to, we take the first Earthquake, we Protect, we can go for another one there. Depending on the rolls, we are able to get a pretty sizable amount of damage off. Dragon Pulse to a standard set is doing right around half, and that's assuming we don't have a Calm Mind up if we're not able to, because a Calm Mind is doing about 72 to 85 to this thing, which is absolutely great. So again, just really helps. This helps me pivot in on some things like the Kilowattrel. It helps me pivot in on some things like the Sinistcha. I think it's a good answer to things like Corviknight and the Alomomola as well, being able to switch in on those. So next up, we are bringing Cousin, the Hisuian Quillfish. Everybody got a cousin. You got a cousin. He's holding his Eviolite with the Intimidate ability. We have Barb Barrage, Pain Split, Crunch, and Aqua Jet. 244 EVs in attack, 252 in special defense, 12 in speed with a Careful Nature. Similar concept. We are looking to outspeed. We've got just enough speed, for anything trying to speed creep. Hisuian Quillfish, a little bit of a faster Sinistcha, a Cloyster, Corviknight, Alomomola, Hatterene, and things along those lines. This helps out a lot. This is 3-hit KO'd by standard Kilowattrel Hurricane. gain, which is great, provided it's not Tera flying. Helps out with things like the Monkey Dory, helps out with things like the Sinistra, helps out with things like the Hatterene as well, which is great. I went with this set. I didn't want to run any sort of hazards or anything. Again, I don't want to give Cinccino an opportunity to come in and click Tidy Up with Hisuian Quillfish specifically. Bar Barrage is nice. It is doing 60 base power. It's a single hit move. It has a 50% chance to poison, which again, on Mons like Alomomola, on Mons like Sinistra, on Mons like Hatterene, always going a good way there. Once they're poisoned, it's doing double damage. Now it's a 120 base power move. We've got Pain Split, which is why we're running no investment in our HP stat. We're trying to get as much HP back as possible. As far as his team goes, he's got some Mons that have, again, those really heavy HP stats. Gouging Fire having 105, Alomomola having 165, Corviknight 98, Crocodile 95. A lot of Mons that have a higher natural HP stat than us that we're going to be able to get a fair amount of health back while also doing a sizable amount of damage back to them. The max attack investment really just to make sure things like Bar Barrage and Crunch are doing as much as they can. Crunch is very nice damage into things like the Monkey Dory, into the Sinistra. Could get some defense drops on things like Pressure Corviknight as opposed to Mirror Herb. Could potentially go for, it's a stronger hitting move prior to poison against things like the Cinccino, the Kilowattrel, things along those lines if Kilowattrel hasn't Tera Fairy'd like I suspect. Aqua Jet, we are bringing the rain. It is, again, one of those moves where, like, if I can pick something off that's chipped, if I'm 1v1ing, something like a Gouging Fire and I just need, like, an extra, 10% really quickly, I can toss out an Aqua Jet and really go from there. Next up, Cannonbolt, the Great Tusk. He's holding his Citrus Berry with the Photosynthesis ability. We have Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Temper Flare, and Headlong Rush. 244 EVs in HP to make sure that we have an even number of HP for the Citrus Berry to pop. 48 EVs in attack with an Adamant Nature, 216 in speed. First thing, 216 in speed, so this set is walled, but if the Kilowattrel is Tera Fairy, Headlong Rush hits it. If it's not, Temper Flare still hits it for some pretty good damage. I've got 131 base attack. Even with an Adamant Nature, it's going to be doing a lot of damage as long as the rain isn't up. At +1 after a Rapid Spin, we are outspeeding the entirety of Callum's team, which is great. We've got a little bit of speed on there. We end up hitting 264, so we are outspeeding something like a max speed Cloyster, a max speed Sinistra, being able to go for a Temper Flare, a Headlong Rush, and either one of those respectively. Citrus Berry, I really couldn't think of a good item to have on there, so I felt like just a little bit more recovery could be beneficial, especially in the likes of Cinccino being able to go for the bullet seeds and stuff like that. I just felt like give me that extra 25% back and we'll be good to go there. Temper Flare is nice because it does end up hitting something that is not non-heat proof Sinistra. It will end up hitting super effectively. Heat proof obviously being able to take that a little bit more. If we are going for a Headlong Rush, the Corviknight comes in. Temper Flare is then doubled because my last move failed, which is great, so now that becomes 150 base power fire move. Awesome. Headlong Rush, very spammable into Callum's team, I feel like. Rocks are there if I do feel comfortable being able to get them up. If Cinccino doesn't come to play, if there is no Hatterene, if I have Great Tusk in against something, I feel confident being able to go for a Stealth Rock in front of. I've got that. And then I do have Rapid Spin just in case. He does have spikes and T-spikes on Cloyster, and he has rocks on Crocodile, so I really want to make sure that, if we can put ourselves in the best foot forward, I'd like to do so. Last but certainly not least, we've got Cream, the Golden Goat. They are holding their Choice Scarf with the Good as Gold ability. We have Shadow Ball, Make It Rain, Thunderbolt, and Trick. 20 EVs in HP, 252 in special attack, 236 in speed with a Modest Nature. Very similar spread as the Great Tusk. We are outspeeding the Sinistra and the Cloyster, that range, +1 by 1 point. We are outspeeding the rest of the team as well. We've got Trick if we're able to identify that something like Kilowattrel isn't Scarf, and we can outspeed it with Basculegion in the rain. We can trick our Choice Scarf onto things like that Assault Vest Alomomola, onto things like the Corviknight, and go from there. Shadow Ball, Make It Rain feel like a very spammable combo into Callum's team. Thunderbolt is nice for that super effective damage into his defensive core of Corviknight and Alomomola. Being able to get a faster attack off on Crocodile with a Make It Rain, if we have some pre-existing chip on it, could go a long way as well. So that is going to be the team. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys at the battle. All right, Gouging Fire, Alomomola, Kilowattrel, Sinistra, Corviknight, and Hatterene. So I'm really thankful to not see, Tera Fairy Kilowattrel first and foremost, because that means that if I can get a Calm Mind up with Raging Bolt, I'm going kind of crazy. I don't hate the idea of getting the rain up first and then kind of playing a little pivot game, because I'm not going to stay in against the Kilowattrel. I think ground makes sense too, right? Ground makes sense in the same sense of fairy of like, it prevents one of my stabs from being, so I wonder if it is competitive then, Kilowattrel with my Intimidate, which could be, very well could be. A special attack boost on that thing is not going to be fun. We know Gouger has the Photosynthesis. I imagine Alomomola has Regenerator. He leads off with Poppy. Yes, sir. All right. He leads off with Poppy. Yeah, Tera Ground actually goes kind of nuts into me, truthfully. Let me take a look here and see what makes the most sense. Goldengo can live 1 Tera Blast, even from Modest. So I'm going to use that to scout here. I'm going to try to get some information on him. I'm going to try to get some information on him because if I will always live unless he is Specs or some sort of a boosting nature. And if I live and then attack into it, I know I'm faster and Make a Rain will knock it out. Withdraws Poppy. Okay. Does not want to play the game. Goes out in a Pisces. The Alomomola. The Alomomola. Okay. Thunderbolt's doing a great amount of damage to this thing. I'm fine with that. I'm very fine with that. Do I want to lose? I don't think I want to lose my Scarf just yet. Actually, no. I do want to trick you right now. I want that Assault Vest, or I want the leftovers, or whatever you've got for me. Because this is the biggest thorn in the side of female Basculegion just going crazy. And again, if Kilowattrel just comes back in, does the whole Tera Ground thing is faster, a Make a Rain is going to be able to do a ton of damage to it. I always live 1 Tera Ground, Tera Blast, Tera Ground, Tera Blast. Actually, with some chip from this thing, I might not. So let's hopefully we snag some leftovers from it. That'd be nice. Corviknight, Hatterene has, I'm just keeping out my notes here for the team so I keep them in front of me. Magic Bounce on the Corviknight. I'm going to take your item, so you now have a choice Scarf. And I get an Assault Vest. There's a flip turn. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. That's pretty standard, though. But I do have my Assault Vest now. Which means the Tera Blast, Tera Ground, Tera Blast, I actually will eat better now. Which is great. But we do have a Alomomola choice locked. No more of that for you. It also means I'm free to click Thunderbolt in front of that and in front of Corviknight now, as well as switch it up into a Shadow Ball into Sinistra and a Make It Rain in front of the gosh darn Hatterene as well if I want to. So let's see what he wants to go out into here. Because the Assault Vest puts him in a situation. Gouging Fire is... Poppy comes out. Okay. Kilowattrel, Tera Ground, Tera Blast is now doing 51 to 60. Volt Switch is 22 to 26. Make It Rain does a lot. I'm just going to go for a Shadow Ball here. Again, I'm out of range of max special attack. Just goes for the Volt Switch. Okay, that's fine. 256 to 108. I did about 46. Oh, you might be Specs. You might be Specs. Hold on. There's no way that should have done that much. So if I took... if I took about 16% from that, there's some damage on you. How many turns of rain do I have left? Because do I just go into 3 turns of rain left? Okay. I don't think you stay, and I think you flip turn. So I'm going to get Basculegion in here. Yeah, because, okay, so if that was 84, I mean, even on a high end of flip turn, let me calc in the rain. That'll put me down to like 75, 240, and then where was Golden Go at? I didn't see the HP number here, because that's going to be important to check with the Kilowattrel. There's a flip turn. Okay. I really need, like Kilowattrel, I need to keep such an eye on right now. Because I want to say it was specs, but I didn't calc the rain damage from the Alomomola on Golden Go. So flip turn does 25 to 30 in the rain, which may mean that it is, I think if Kilowattrel comes in right now, it is Scarf. So let's play the game, because now you have to choose what's going to take a choice specs, Tera Water, Surf in the rain. So we're going to start getting some chippies up. Patricia. Okay. Golden Go has... Okay, so 240 down to 108 is about 31%. Maybe not specs? I feel like it's gotta be. I feel like it's gotta be. So even 70 down to 108... 36. Yeah, you know. This into the Shadow Ball should always knock this out. But I'm gonna Tera Water and just flip turn here into my Quillfish. I think is always the play. Especially without your especially without Cinccino around. You know, we're taking fine damage. Pisces comes back in. Yeah, it's gonna do about 8 to 10% to this thing, which is crazy. Surf does an astronomical amount. So this is 2 turns of rain left. I will go out into Raging Bolt here. Because again, with the Tera Ground on the Kilowattrel, a Calm Mind is going to go a long way. So I'm just going to go for that right now. Scare this out. Hopefully scare it out, right? Ice Beam will do about a quarter to me if he's got it. But then after the Calm Mind boost, I just start kind of sitting there, you know? Withdraws? Yep. All right. In comes Patricia. Okay. Thunderbolt's a max HP, does about 58 to 69. Let's see if you are... So Dazzling Gleam has a chance to 2-hit KO at max special attack. I'm just going to go for the Thunderbolt here. Yep. Oh, that was a crit? Mystical Fire. Okay. So, for a crit to do about half, you have to be like max. Okay. I mean, what, like a fairy move comes out now, right? I think I just keep getting damage on this. Because Mystical Fire drops my special attack. That's fine. There's the Draining Kiss. Yeah, you are Assault Vest. You are Assault Vest. I'll protect, get a little bit of leftovers recovery here. There's Draining Kiss again. Okay. So if I get up to +2, Draining Kiss then do an 18 to 22. So I'll go for that. Yeah, you have to be like max HP, max SPDF, Assault Vest at that part. There's the Mystical Fire. Okay. I mean, this becomes a little bit of a battle of attrition here where I believe I just get pretty big. And I just keep doing this, because now I'll be at a +3 special defense. Like a Gouging Fire Outrage could kill me. But I'll be able to kind of scout for that, you know? There's the Mystical Fire again. Okay. I will call Mind again. +4. I did 16. All right, so a neutral Thunderbolt should be doing about 21 to 25. You're only getting... You know, you are getting very little back off of this. I'll go on ahead and go for the Thunderbolt here. Okay. But even so, I mean, I'm going to keep clicking Thunderbolt here. I know I'm -1 now. Now we're at the range where Thunderbolt and Draining Kiss. Thunderbolt is doing about as much as Draining Kiss is getting back, so... I'm going to have a +4 special defense Raging Bolt up with the leftovers and such. There's Draining Kiss. I'll go for another one here. Get me back up to neutral. I should be neutral +5 special defense. Yep, now it's going to do even less back. This is going to be a little bit of a long game right now. I'll protect here. All right. Go for Thunderbolt. Tera. It's a matter of time. There's my leftovers. Am I +6 special defense yet? I am not. One more and I am. I know he's still got some mystical fires in the bag. That's not like... That's a pretty... I think that's like 16 power. Poke points, poke power. There's the mystical fire. Okay, yep. Back down to neutral. Thunderbolt here. Get the full para. Calling it. Calling it makes it not Hex. There it is. All right. All right. Now let me just check. Okay. What am I at? I'll go for the Calm Mind here to see if I can get the +1 boost. Because I think he's got to be like, oh, go for the Draining Kiss, right? Because I need to make sure Gouging Fire dies to a Dragon Pulse. Yup. All right, so now I'm +1. Now the Hatterene should go down. With that in mind. I'm going to protect to get a little bit of recovery here. And then Thunderbolt should be able to knock this thing out. Because again, Dragon Pulse does, like, even with some investment on there. With some investment on there, Dragon Pulse does 100% to Gouging Fire. And I live a booster energy outrage every time. Future Sight. There you go. Okay. All right. Thunderbolt time. There we go. First blood, baby. Dragon Pulse just got freed up. Get a little bit of leftovers. What comes in now? Sinistra doesn't have some crazy ass, like, psych up, does it? Nope. Okay. So you, again, I need to take the kill where I can and go for a Dragon Pulse here. I'm at 425 health. That is 94%. I am out of range of a max attack, booster energy plus outrage. If he goes for an outrage here and kills me, he's banded. Because we did not see a booster energy. Scale shot. Ooh, maybe. I think I live this. Nice little loaded dice scale shot. All right, so Dragon Pulse again to some HP, 100 to 118. Yes, it does. Let's go, Raging Bolt. I'll take the Future Sight now with +6. It does kill me. All right. Hatterene from the grave. Okay, perfect. I think now we can get Pelipper in safely to get the rain up. Raging Bolt, you did fantastic. You did fantastic. There's some concern whether I could have maybe protected there to scout for it, gotten the leftovers and the Future Sight. You know, I don't know how much Future Sight was doing in that scenario. I guess we can take a look at. We can Theorymon while we're here, right? We can Theorymon while we're here. I was +6. The Future Sight did 11 to 13, so I mean, we could talk about it. We could talk about it because I always live that afterwards, so is what it is. All right, 7 turns of rain, 4 Mons left. Alomamola's still around. Let's go into... I don't think you'd go for the flying move here. I'm gonna go out into Great Tusk here. There's Thunderbolt. Okay. All right. I'll go for Stealth Rocks. You either show me you're locked in. You either show me you're choiced. If you're not choiced, I think I win with Basculegion. But I think you definitely swap here if you're choiced. Yes. Okay. You are Choice Scarf 100%. In comes Bullet. We'll get our rocks up. I've got a Golden Go in the back. To block that defog. Rocks will help me with an Aqua Jet sweep at the end. Let's just keep playing for the long game here. I'm going to assume Choice Scarf Kilowattrel. I don't know if I saw pressure on this thing, actually. I wasn't paying attention to that. So maybe Mirror Armor makes sense with the Intimidate. U-turn. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I am at 30% with Golden Go right now, right? I am at 30% with Golden Go. I live a Volt Switch every time from this Kilowattrel. Thunderbolt knocks me out. As does Tera Ground Tera Blast at this range. Sinistra, okay. Do I just... Shadow Ball should knock you out, right? Unless everything's Assault Vest. This is another resist for Surf, so getting damage on this will be nice. Yeah, if everything is max special defense, then this doesn't kill, but if this is just max HP, I should always kill here. Some special defense investment, you know, maybe. But even then, you know, chance to Oko with Shadow Ball after rocks damage there. Small chance if max HP, max SPDF. So I think it's in our favor to knock this out. All right. Hops out. Goes into the Alomomola. Doing about 50% to this thing. Ooh, SPDF drop? No. Okay. So, Thunderbolt, very good into this. Kilowattrel comes in. Volt Absorb. But Thunderbolt should knock this out. Yes. All right, Lamola's gone. In comes Kilowattrel. All right. Rocks dig into you, which is great for my Aqua Jet late game. All right. I always live a Volt Switch from Modest. So I'm going to click Shadow Ball. I always live a Volt Switch from Modest. So if I die, it's either a crit or he's Choice. Like Choice Specs, not Scarf. I am at 30%. Volt Switch is 24 to 29. Here comes the Tera Ground. All right. Which means now you are weak to Aqua Jet. Which is fine by me, because I still got a Damp Rock up on Pelipper. There's the Tera Blast Ground. All right, perfect. Kilowattrel KOs Golden Go with Tera Blast Ground. And if you are choice locked into this, hold on. Tera Blast Ground into my Basculegion does 37 to 43. Come on in, Basculegion. Let's click Choice Spec Surf and 2-hit KO something. Also, Aqua Jet knocks this thing out, but I'm just going to go for the Surf. Because again, I take the Tera Blast. If you're Scarf, you're locked into it. You do 37 to 43. You withdraw. Great. Now you're in Aqua Jet range. All right, I think we have this. We just need to play carefully. In comes Bullet the Sinistra. No, the Corviknight. Okay. Corviknight is going to be pretty blown backwards by this. It was Pressure Corviknight. There it is. Still got that Reina, baby. Okay. Kilowattrel and Sinistra versus the world. What you got for me? I think at any angle, if Kilowattrel comes in, we could sack Pelipper. No, don't want to sack Pelipper. Rain's still up. If Rain went away, we would sack Pelipper. And go from there. Right? I think if Sinistra comes in, we go... In comes Funeral. Okay. Surf in the Rain... does enough to make me hesitant on this. So I'm going to go out into Cousin here. Because a Crunch will do big damage into this. I'm faster, so I'll switch out first, so I have no... If it is competitive Kilowattrel, I won't proc that. We haven't seen anything from this Sinister. We know it's not Boots. But any chip damage on this will be good for Basculegion afterwards. Probably a Matcha Gotcha, maybe? Withdraws. Okay. I think that's fine, actually. Into the... So Rain's gone. Aquajet does 37. Oh, and now you don't take the extra rocks damage because you tear ground. Yup. Okay. But I'm at full health. Tera Blast is fine into me. Because that looks like crunch into Aquajet. So let's go for that. There's Tera Blast. You might be Specs. Hold on. You might be Specs. That took me down to 62. 77. Either way, Aquajet here will pick up the Kilowattrel. Everybody's got a cousin, man. Leave a like if you got a cousin. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, everybody's got one. At least one. There's the Aquajet. Beautiful. Fullfish KOs. Kilowattrel with Aquajet. Were you like a bulk? I feel like it's got to be like a bulky spec set then, right? To like live so much damage. I feel like it has to be. I think the crunch here is just the best play overall. I don't know if I should pain split. Oh, you're faster than me. Okay. Oh, and I live? Oh, is that Aquajet range, please? I'm going to try for it. Oh, so close, so close, so close. There's the energy ball. Okay. Finisher KOs. Quillfish. With energy ball. I will go out into Basculegion here, and I will pick up the final KO with an Aquajet. Oh my goodness. This was a game. This was a game. There is the Aquajet from Basculegion. That is going to be a 3-0 victory over the Realquinid. Playing my butt off right now. GG's to Callum, guys. This was such a good game. I had so much fun with this. I hope you guys did too. Definitely make sure you guys leave a like because we're on the win streak now, baby. This team's unstoppable. Of course, if you guys are new, you like competitive content, definitely subscribe. We got more Bubble coming your way. We got the One Last Ride Tour coming up here. We got Pokemon Champions and a new VGC season coming out. Definitely plenty of time to tap in. All that being said, I'm going to remind you guys to be great and do great. And I'll see you guys next week for game day. Later.